Phil Spencer has fired back once again at Sony, and boy oh boy, it seems like the gloves are off, and I gotta say, I absolutely love this. When we see that Microsoft is out there absolutely demolishing every talking point that Sony has, every single one of them, right? It's not even close. They're out there just going, oh, well, you had a problem with this, we'll offer you that, that should solve the problem. And Sony is still out there saying no. At some point, all these regulators are going to notice that Sony doesn't give a shit about Call of Duty being on PlayStation. They know that it's not going anywhere. The only thing that they care about, the only thing, is the fact that they don't want Microsoft to have access to these games, and they don't want Microsoft to have it in Game Pass. This news here is more proof of that. Like, I cannot believe how ignorant Microsoft is, you know, like, Sony, like, they just, and they get away with it. That's the most baffling thing to me anyway. I'm sitting here going, how much longer can they get away with this stuff? They're literally lying to people. If this thing makes it to court, it's going to get shredded like super fast, like Watergate, man. This is so funny to me. I want to get into it though. What's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here. Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Yes, I'm back with another video. Please hit that like button. I'm looking to get 100 likes on each of the videos that I do. Would be much appreciated. I know it's a small goal, but a goal nonetheless, which keeps me driving. Anyway, like I said, I just appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for constantly rocking out with me. Now, I absolutely love what Phil Spencer's doing here. I mean, it's just one of those things that, I'm just saying, hey, Phil did excellent with this. It's impressive to see what they've done. Now, they've offered Sony the rights to offer Call of Duty on its PlayStation Plus subscription service. According to Bloomberg, which claims that the offer has been made in an effort to appease the US's FTC and get its acquisition of Activision Blizzard approved. The publication claims that Microsoft has offered the concession in addition to its 10-year offer to release the franchise on PlayStation consoles. It recently entered a similar agreement with Nintendo. Bloomberg understands that Sony has yet to accept a deal as it continues to fight against a merger, which would see Microsoft take control of the industry's largest third party and one of the largest franchises. Microsoft giving Sony the ability to include the franchise as part of its subscription offering could be a step to offset the argument that Microsoft would be able to unfairly compete, offering the world's biggest multi-platform console game for a small monthly fee in its ecosystem. Call of Duty, the monolithic shooter franchise that regularly tops the best-selling list for console games, could theoretically have been made exclusive to Microsoft platforms following this deal. However, since the announcement of Microsoft's intent to acquire Activision Blizzard, the company has assured that it wouldn't lock away the game for at least a decade. Now, this hasn't stopped Sony from crying boo freaking who from using the game as one of its linchpin arguments against regulators, trying to push regulators against the deal. Now, I've kind of personally said this all along. I feel like Sony is pretty much in the wrong here. They don't really care about, any of this stuff per se. They realistically just want, the game not to be on Xbox, right? Because let's check this out. Microsoft isn't going to just allow, Sony to say, hey, here it is in PlayStation Plus. I mean, that would be a huge cost to them, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. So when you look at it from that perspective, they're giving them the opportunity, but Sony doesn't want to do things that way. Sony is staunchly stuck in the past where they don't want to allow, these games to go into a service day one. They like making money up front. That's the way they've always done it. That's the way they want to do it. I'm not saying that that's completely a wrong perspective, but to try and stick a pin in anybody else trying to do things differently is dead ass wrong. And I feel like Sony is completely in the wrong here. Now, Microsoft's gaming CEO Phil Spencer recently claimed that the Second Request podcast that Sony is leading the dialogue around why the deal shouldn't go through to protect its dominant position on console. So the thing they grab onto is Call of Duty. He also continued that the largest console maker in the world raising an objection about the one franchise that we've said will continue to ship on the platform. It's a deal that benefits customers through choices and access. Now, this past week, the U.S. regulator said it was tempting to block the deal because it believed it would enable Microsoft to suppress competitors to its Xbox consoles and its subscription content and cloud gaming business. Now, last week, Microsoft President Brad Smith provided more details in a Wall Street Journal entry as to why the company offers to keep Call of Duty franchises on PlayStation. Now, so many people have gone, how is it going to be on more consoles? Well, and more places. They just literally detailed it. They're keeping it on PlayStation. They're keeping it on Steam. They're going to bring it to Nintendo for the first time in over a decade, right? It's going to be available through cloud streaming. You know, anybody with a phone or a tablet or a PC or whatever, you're going to be able to stream the game. That's literally millions of more people are going to be able to play this game, right? People that don't have the $70, $80 to buy it, they're going to be able to play it through a subscription. Like, I do not understand the contention here, other than the fact that Sony doesn't want Microsoft to have it in general. It's absolutely asinine to think about this, but it's like Sony, they got their heads so far up their asses that they don't know what's going on. They want things done one way, their way, and it's absolutely ridiculous to think that way. You know, like, there are other people in the industry. You know, it's like Sony literally chased out Sega. You know, they ran Nintendo off to do like a kiddie console. You know, they literally can do whatever they want. They can buy whoever they want as the number one company. You know, buy as many third-party or exclusives as they want. Keep content off Xbox whenever they want, apparently. Buy a huge game like Destiny, right? With just a simple promise, but no, they even though there's no history there of them ever keeping anything multi-platform. And it's just all hunky-dory. You know, they can own esports. They can do this. They can do that. You know, they can own every, you know, anime thing. But when it comes down to it, Microsoft can't own can't own a game because what? Sony doesn't think it's right? Gives you a little bit of food for thought. Like, I've never ever thought that it would kind of come to this, but yeah, like Sony, they're super asinine here. You know, like for me, I'm pretty pissed off about Sony over a lot of things. A lot of people go, oh, well, you're just flip-flopping, you're just this or that. No, I mean, Sony's done a lot of things that they said that they wouldn't do, you know, and listen, I get it. Microsoft puts games on PC, Sony is, but Microsoft at least puts them on day and date. They do the cross-buy thing. They initiated cross-platform play again. You know, game gifting, Game Pass with day one exclusives in there. They're so consumer friendly compared to Sony, right? Like, Sony doesn't know the meaning of the word. It's just Jim Ryan out there saying, give me money, give me money, give me money. And that's basically kind of how it goes, you know. And then they brag about all this stuff, and at the end of the day, they're the console that least, you know, that's the least amount. They're like, hey, buy this console, we focus on the solid state drive, but by the way, all that BS that we fed you about it, you know, creating larger worlds and all this stuff, that's all thrown out the window because we're putting our stuff to PC, which means that developers are going to have to keep PC in mind, and, you know, they're not going to be able to take full advantage of it because there's never going to be a time where they're going to sit there and dictate that people that play their games are going to have a solid state drive. I think there's one game in the history of all PC games that actually does that. So yeah, anyway, you know, they charge an exorbitant amount for their VR, no backwards compatibility for their VR. It's ridiculous. Raise prices of their console, raise prices of their games. The list goes on and on. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.